Morgan. Welcome to the first beta video. I'm so excited. I am on my way to Grand Junction right now to pick up the 2024 300RR Race Edition named Cecilia, and I cannot wait to get that thing back to the shop, dig my hands into it, show you guys a ton of stuff about it. It's so exciting. If that sounds like fun, stick with us. Here we go. Guys, so I'm on my way to Grand Junction to pick this bike up. The reason I did not buy it locally, I figured I'd go ahead and give you guys the lowdown. Sorry about the squeaky in the back of the van, it just is what it is. So a lot of people ask me why I didn't buy local, because I do harp on that for you guys to shop local. Well, the local shop that sells Beta to me absolutely sucks, and I won't even walk in their door. So there's that. So after that, everybody else might be in Colorado, but they're not local, right? They're very far away and not worth going to, because I have a good friend, Dan North at True North Motos up in Washington, in Olympia, Washington. And Dan is a good friend. He just became a Beta dealer, and I thought, man, I'd love to give Dan money. If I'm not gonna give a local economy money, let's give it to my good friend Dan. So Dan got my money. He got me a motorcycle. I talked to Tim Weig at motoshippers.com. Tim is bringing the motorcycle to me in Grand Junction. He's charging me a sweet deal on it because I'm willing to drive up to I-70 in Grand Junction and meet him. He doesn't have to come off his route down to Montrose. Can't say enough about Tim. Super communicative, really easy to deal with. Definitely striving to get me the bike in a timely manner, even though I told him he didn't have to, because I really, you know, it's winter time. I don't really need it right away, but he jumped all over it. He's getting it to me. I'm so excited, guys. This is a good day. New bike day is always a freaking great day. I'm very fortunate, a very blessed man to have had a lot of these days. I know a lot of you guys probably have never had that day, and some of you have had it a million times. I just want to let you know, I do not take it for granted that I get to have a new motorcycle. It's because of this YouTube channel, it's because of working in the motorcycle industry that I get to have this, which all comes down to you guys watching this video. So thank you very much for watching these videos. Consider subscribing, it helps a ton, it's free to you, and it will help me, you know, buy more motorcycles and do reviews. Anyway, I'm gonna shut this off. I'll bring you back in when we get there and we meet Tim. All right, guys, we're here. Let's go meet Tim and pick up this beautiful motorcycle. Tim,
how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you? Nice to meet you. Guys, this is Tim. He is the man who brought that beautiful thing to me all the way from Washington. How was the trip?
It's good. I wish it was going to my house, but yeah, no, it wasn't good, actually. I mean, we've been in snow and ice and chains. And
it's a tough time of year to be moving things around the country.
It's really tough.
Yeah. Here it is, the 2024 300RR Race Edition, named Cecilia. That is a beautiful motorcycle. I have to say, honestly, the front end, I don't like the, I think it's kind of ugly. A lot of you guys are gonna be so mad at me for saying that, but I do, it's better in person than in the pictures. The bike itself is way better in person than the pictures. I honestly was kind of like, hey, on betas, but the thing looks pretty darn good, I guess. We're gonna make it look better. We got a lot going on, guys. Let's get this thing back to the shop and start taking things apart. All right, guys, we got her back to the shop. We got her on the scale. Obviously, no, it's not the most accurate scale situation, but I weighed it. I filled it up with gas. I put the battery into the seat, and I got it right at like 244, which is quite a bit lighter than that Sherco. That was 265 or something like that, in the same trim with no extra things on it yet. So really happy about that. I don't really care that much about weight, but you know, if it's lighter, that's awesome. Let's take a good look at this thing. Let's just walk around the beautifulness that is the 2024 Beta 300RR Race Edition. It's actually gorgeous except for that. It's like a butterface. Everything else is real pretty butterface. I just don't like the headlight match. That is really the only thing that I don't like the way it looks. I don't love the fender, but the fender's all right. But that I don't like. Anyway, we're gonna run with that shape because I don't think anybody makes a different shape. And I have some cool stuff to do with a different light and all kinds of stuff. So, by the way, guys, make sure you're subscribing. If you just got here because you want to see this bike, subscribe to the channel. Maybe hit that little notification bell because a ton of content is coming from this thing. Yeah, there it is. Let's talk about some of the things that everybody wants to know. All right, before I pull it up on the lift and start taking this thing apart, I want to talk about the steering head, or talk about the steering on the bike. So finally, Beta realized that it's nice to have a bike go full lock. Beta put a curve or a relief in the radiator, so it goes all the way to the lock. We're gonna see if that stays the same with Bulletproof Designs guards, which we have to put on here. But that is one of the biggest things I'm happy about. Now, the other style with it not going full lock really doesn't matter on most trails, but when you're going down a really steep trail with lots of really steep switchbacks, that is incredibly important and is a bit terrifying when it wouldn't go full lock. So that's awesome. I'm really happy about that. The other thing about the bike that I like that's right here is this radiator cap. It's got a real normal radiator cap. It's a 1.8, easy to get on, easy to get off. It's not that plastic thing that's dumb. So I'm really happy to see that. I think it's on the wrong side. I feel like it should be over here because to drain the coolant and everything's over there. So it would be nice. Peace out. It would be nice to have it over here, but whatever. I do not care about that. That does not affect my opinion of the motorcycle. Silencer is still giant and large. I'm going to be cutting mine down, putting a Spanish fly spark arrestor in it. I will, once I get this thing up on the lift, I'm going to show you something really cool about this. That the new brake master cylinder and stuff that's going on there that I think is really slick. Obviously the twin spark head, guys, but we're going to be taking this thing apart here. I'm going to show you that head in my hand. We're going to take it all the way apart, take the head off the bike on this video. So make sure you're sticking around through the video. Let's pull it up on the lift and start taking things apart. Guys, Sam has a good point. The headlight looks like a cheap Chinese toy dirt bike headlight. Let's seriously though, look at this thing. I mean, come on, guys. Someone's gonna yell at me, like, it's the most beautiful. It's not. It's not the most beautiful headlight. It's probably the ugliest headlight. Well, the headlight, okay, this part's fine. This, terrible looking.
It could be better.
The upside is when I'm sitting on it, riding it, I'll never have to look at it. All right, guys, let's start taking it apart. First things first, seat. I love this about it. I got a big button, push that. Of course, I'm trying to do it one-handed, which is hard, especially with that hand. Hang on. That's pretty freaking cool. I like that a lot. Everybody complains about the seat. I guess we're going to find out how bad it is. Let's take a look at the air box. Pull that off. It's stiff like all the other ones, but it does come off without tools. That's nice. It's got a KTM style. I'm going to go ahead and call it that. Air filter, which I like. It's got the nub there, nub there. You got to be kind of careful. I guess you can not orient this correctly and have a leak. So we're gonna have to make sure we're careful there. See, it says up right there. So we'll be good about that. Definitely gonna put some more oil on that. It's not, I mean, there's definitely oil on it, but not a ton. Now let's get the tank off so we can take a look at that cylinder head.
That's odd.
All right, guys, I had to call Dan to ask him about the map switch. Let me show you guys something here. Come over here. We got a relocation kit for it from Dan and also from Fox Enduro. We're going to put the Fox Enduro one on first. I'm still waiting on Dan from True North because they're building a cool one. But it's glued in here. But let's just get it loose. First of all, there's this plug right here. So now we're loose. It's free. I'll take it over to the bench and see if we can't free it from its moorings. Grab a thin flat blade here and see if I can't. There we go. That was actually easy. Boom. Problem solved. Okay, that went great.
I was thinking it was going to be a real nightmare, but that wasn't bad at all. So let me show you what we're working with. Again, Dan has a cooler, or Dan has another version, but we're going to put this on here, the Fox Enduro. Guys, it's going to go right here. I don't think this is going to work, guys, because one of the things they did to this frame is they gusseted this. This is different on this bike. This is gusseted now. You see he's got reliefs cut for when that used to just be a thin weld, but now the whole thing's wider. Yeah, there is no way that's going to work. So I'm going to wait for Dan's part. These are awesome. These do really well on the 23s and back. So sorry, we're Fox Enduro. I'm not going to be putting that on here, but we will get back to you. They have some other cool products that I'll show you. But right now, that's not happening. Okay, now let's drain the coolant because I'm going to put Evans in this thing. So we're going to pull the skid plate off. Take a look at that. I have a new skid plate and all kinds of stuff for this bike. This first video is not going to be everything because this is going to be a long process building this bike up. So stick around. But it's actually a pretty nice skid plate. It's thin, but I bet it's actually not that bad, honestly. But we have we got one from Molecule Motorsports, so we'll check this guy. So guys, this is where I wish the freaking radiator cap was on this side because I can't reach it. I got to reach over here. I'm gonna try to do this without getting this everywhere. The other thing I'm doing when I have this head off is I'm going to replace the hoses because it's got this thermostat here. I don't want that thermostat. So we're going to take that thing out of the way, put a Samco hose in. So we're going to have to take these radiators off of their moorings. Take this apart. Anyway, get all that out of the way so that I can put the part in that gets rid of that. So right now, we'll go ahead and get just the head off. You can see spark plug wire, 2 coils, one on here, one on the other side. Yeah, let's take some bolts out of the way. This is going away. This is the drain for if you overfilled it with gas, it would go down and around and out to the ground. I guess it's nice it goes to the ground, but it's stupid because the only reason you'd overfill it with gas is because that stupid blue thing it makes it so you can't see where the gas level is. So that's out of here. Man, I think we're good to go. Looks like, by the way, real quick, the left coil is the rear plug, the right coil is the front plug. I don't think it matters. I think they fire at the same time. We're going to be doing tests on all this stuff. We'll swap them, unplug one, all kinds of things. So stay tuned. I think we're good to take this thing off, which is cool. It does have the beta stupid, let me show you this. I find this really annoying, and it's no big deal. We're going to take care of it, but the tamper-proof, like, come on. So, gonna knock that pin out of there. We'll get this thing off. And just so you know, guys, a drift and a hammer is the easiest way to do with that, or you can go get the right bit. But I'm definitely going to be getting a normal bolt for this, so I don't have to use the Allen, because not a huge fan of Allens. Well, on much, because they tend to strip out. So, all right, for the first time on YouTube, I believe, the twin spark head. Let's go have a look at the bench. All right, guys and girls. So, a bunch of people have been asking if it's a swappable dome head. It is not. As you can see, it is one piece. That's no problem. I don't care about that. Just letting everybody know. But yeah. There's the 2 spark plugs. It's, everybody wants to know my opinion on this. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's silly. I don't think this is really going to do much. Maybe it's going to help burn it a little cleaner, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We're going to figure out, see how it runs and all that stuff, see if it makes any difference. We're going to unplug one, not plug the other one in, swap them back. I don't know. We're going to do all kinds of testing on this thing to see if it makes a difference. To me, in such a tiny combustion chamber, I just don't see the need for having two flame fronts start at the same time. So someone out there, lead with the "I'm an engineer," please, and tell me why you think this is good and why you think it's bad. I don't know if it's bad. It just doesn't seem necessary. I guess maybe it's burning a little cleaner. Maybe it gets a little bit more of it burnt. We're going to find out. But there it is, guys. That's what the twin spark head looks like in real life. All right, so that's pretty cool to see that, I think. Let's take a look in here in the cylinder. Looks like a cylinder. Whatever. It's obviously been started. Not started at the dealership, though. Dan PDI'd everything else on the chassis and all that stuff, but he left the carburetor and gas out of it. He left the gas out of it and didn't do anything to the carb because he knew I would want to jet that. So now I'm going to take off the rest of the stuff to get the radiators out of the way and get that hose replaced so I can have a nice hose without a thermostat. All right, here we go. See if we can pull it out this way. I don't know. I may not be able to. Yeah, I'm going to have to cut this band down here. So let me cut that thing and we'll pull it out up through the top. Got this from Moose Racing. Really the only one I care about is this. So we're gonna thread that down through there. All right, guys, while I'm doing this, I'm gonna grab my Bulletproof Designs radiator guards and put them on, because now is the time while everything's apart. Bulletproof has modified these things so that they should work and clear the new radiator, so they should work with this, I believe. Nice. Let me show you here, guys, real fast. On these, they come with these other bolts. You got to put bolts in here. Bulletproof usually sends those bolts with the kits. They did not send them to me because they gave them to me for free, so I appreciate that, and they just chucked them in a box real fast. So I'm going to grab some bolts and put that on there. Also put some thread locker on those. Do the other side. I can say that the kit to do the T-hose replacement, it works, but it's really tight because I think the frame, well, I know the frame is wider right here because of this gusseting to stiffen it up. So it doesn't quite stick out quite far enough. It does stick out far enough. I was able to get the clamps on and get them tight, but if you got a new one of these bikes and you're putting one of those T-hose kits on there, just know you're going to have to do some finagling. It's not going to be super easy. All right, I'm going to shut you guys off, get this other thing on here. Probably leave the tank off. I'm going to take the rear end off and be greasing the back of this bike. All right, guys, we've got all that front end work done. Well, not the front end, excuse me. All the coolant hose, got the blue thing removed. Still waiting on the part to put that on there. Now let's work on the back of this bike. So I'm going to ride this bike stock to give you a fair review of its stock, but I'm not going to ride it with tubes in the tires, and I mean, that's just not going to happen. And I'm not going to ride it with those stock bar mounts. I've got a Mako 360. I know I'm going to like the Mako 360. We don't need to talk about those bar mounts. They're just whatever. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the back end of this bike off. I'm going to grease the linkage bearings and the swing arm bearings, because I'm sure there's not enough grease. There never is from any manufacturer. And I'm going to install some moose balls in this giant tire. These, if you guys don't know, these things are coming with a Maxxis, what is this thing? Max Enduro. It's a DOT legal tire, 140/80/18, which is crazy sizing. Yeah, it's like an FIM kind of thing. Short knobs, big fat thing. So yeah, let's take that wheel off. We're gonna make sure we get some grease on the axle. Take that apart, put moose balls in it, take the whole back end apart. I'll show you, we'll check in, guys, as we go and see if there's actually any grease in this thing or not. Yeah, let's get after it. That's nice. Comes with a 27 millimeter nut, which I like. And actually, guys, I'm looking here. Let me show you something. There's a lot of grease right there. So maybe they've learned their lesson. That's cool. Does come with a nice twin ring style sprocket. I actually don't like these because I worry about these things coming loose. I've seen it happen, but we are going to run it stock because it's stock gearing on it, which is, by the way, 48 rear and a 14 front. So we're going to run 1448 stock. I've already got plans on different gearing, but don't worry about that. Stay tuned, subscribe, blah, 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 all the things. Let's pull this apart and get some moose balls in it. As with all manufacturers, it comes with a pretty lightweight tube. It's a nice tube though. I don't know who makes it, but let's see. Looks like IRC or something. Anyway, it's good quality. It's just lightweight. There we go. And guys, I am still really liking the Neutron moose changer. It's just really good. It's definitely better than the Rabiconda. It's maybe not as quick change as the Rabiconda. You can't like move the feet around or the stands around as fast, but it's better. The Delrin slides and all that's way better. So, all right. Now let's see how it does putting moose balls in, if it fills it up. Like I said, I did get the biggest moose balls, so hopefully they'll fill this thing up. We'll find out here shortly. All right, now I'm switching over to the Moose Juice, which is my favorite moose lube. You know, I don't know that's much different than the stuff that comes in it. It's just I have a giant tub of it, so it makes it easy to put plenty on there once you run low out of the little thing. He sells this stuff on Amazon and on his website. I think it's moose-juice.com. I'll put a link in the description if I remember. Otherwise, just search it out. It's MOOSEJOOSE. 22 balls. There's one left over. I think that's going to be plenty. It's probably be a little soft, but not in a bad way. It'll probably be, you know, somewhere in the 8 to 10 pound feeling range, even though I don't like that. I don't like comparing it to PSI because it's so different from PSI. Yeah, anyway. All right. Let's gonna take the frame guards off. Man, it's got grease on the kickstand and everything. I think they've done a very good job. I might be wasting my time, but I like to touch every nut and bolt on a new bike anyway. But that's awesome. Tons of white lithium grease on the kickstand. But yeah, so gonna loosen all this stuff up. Just kind of just slide this out, grease, and slide it back in so I don't have to take everything apart. I'm gonna take the frame guards off, and I want to show you something else on the brake that's kind of new and different and cool. Let me show you this. This is super rad, I think. As a guy who's installed lots of brake light switches, this is pretty slick. They put a little switch here that operates with the brake pedal, but is not on the hydraulic thing. I think that's going to last longer and be easier to replace. If this does fail, you can just put it in. You don't have to bleed brakes. Good job, Beta. I like that. Again, guys, I'm seeing lots of what looks like white lithium grease on things. Oh, and that is definitely tight. Holy crap. I have no idea what that torque spec is, but that is stinking tight. It does have a lock nut on it, which that's nice. Man almighty, is that tight though. So the bearings are looking promising, guys. Lots of grease. And those appear to be caged bearings. Win one for Beta, man. That's awesome. By the way, this does not mean you shouldn't check yours. These are not caged, so that's weird. These are caged, these are not, but there's lots of grease, so we're good. Lower shock bearing also heavily greased. Sweet. Sweet, sweet. It's really weird they use cage, not cage, but I don't care. All right, now let's get this dog bone off if we can. Always want to check. Definitely grease on the end of the bolt. Yep. Lots of grease, guys. Not caged on that. That's interesting. There's one set of cage bearings in the linkage. That's kind of a weird thing, but I like it. Lots of grease. That's honestly super rad. All right, guys, when I go back together, I like to use the Z-Max lube on the bolts. It's it goes on really thin with an aerosol, and it sets up into a grease. So it's really good stuff. Put that on all the bolts. Because while the bolts should not be the part you're relying on to be greased, because they should be spinning on the bearings, it's still nice to have grease there too. I'm going to put some stuck nuts, thread locker on all of it, just blue. It's got lock nuts, but I'm a belt and suspenders kind of guy. I don't like anything to even have a chance of coming apart. All right. Now let's pull the swing arm out. I'm guessing I can just like quick glance at it and say it's grease and put it back, but we'll see. Lots of grease on the pivot and lots of grease on the bearings, guys. Sweet. I'm gonna check the other side. Hello? All right, guys, I am gonna put guards on before I ride it because I don't want to break my motorcycle, but it still will be stock in performance. All right, guys, I'm realizing right now as I'm editing this that this is going to be way longer than just one video. So we're going to shut this down now. We just got the back end of the bike done. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. I'm loving working on a brand new bike. Really loving that it's a completely different bike than what I've ridden and been around for years and years now. I mean, I've worked on a few betas, but this is the deepest I've gotten into a beta ever. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Make sure you comment below and subscribe, thumbs up, all the things involved with YouTube. Make sure you visit our sponsors down below, Rocky Mountain ATV, Onyx Off-Road, all of them, XC Gear, everybody who has helped us out. So please, please, please use those links if you can. And I love you, and we'll see. Make sure you subscribe because we're coming right back with the rest of this build to make the bike end up kind of looking like that. Thanks, guys.